I've got the newest information on two potential tropical development areas. We'll look at the timing of each and how much rainfall they could bring. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. Great to see you on a Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, newest information on our two development areas. We'll look at the impacts they're already bringing, the timing of each, and then we're going to talk about some significant rainfall expected in portions of our area. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments section below where you're viewing from, what the weather has been like. First things first, apologies that this video is slightly later than when I normally post. If you're a frequent viewer of the channel, you know that before Hurricane Helene, I had some emergency dental work done. Well, I had to go back this afternoon and get that finished. Unfortunately, it was an afternoon appointment, and I've literally been waiting for the Novocaine to wear off so that I could feel my face and make complete sentences without slurring. As you can see, I barely got through that sentence. Feel good enough to go ahead and record this video right now, so again, apologies for the slight delay. This is what's happening across our area at this present time. Let's get into what's been going on here. Now, we still have Invest 94L situated out here, still an active system and has not become a depression yet, still fighting a lot of drier air, very small, compact area, but again, potential development as it gets towards the Lesser Antilles. And we've had a few scattered showers and some rumbles of thunder across the Lesser Antilles for today. A little bit of rain activity from Barbados south towards Trinidad. Again, nothing extremely widespread, but still pockets of some heavier rainfall from time to time. That's the same scenario over the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico on this Wednesday. Again, it hasn't been a ton of rain, but if you've caught some of those showers, let me know. It's been relatively quiet over the Dominican Republic and Haiti, a few scattered showers and storms, but you can see nothing on the heftier side. A little bit of lightning towards Lacaille there on the peninsula of Haiti. We're getting more activity the farther west that we go, and that's been the big story, is just the amount of rain portions of Cuba have seen. It's been a relatively wet day across portions of Jamaica. Again, not the heaviest rainfall, but we've had some passing showers, including near the Kingston area. So again, if you've gotten some rain in Jamaica, let me know. Scattered showers and storms over Grand Cayman. I have some video to show you here in just a second from Grand Cayman last night. And again, rumbles of thunder and some lightning. But obviously the big scenario is what's happening in the Southwest Caribbean, with the opportunity again for an area of low pressure to try and wrap up. And this again could become a tropical system. But regardless, this is some very heavy rain for Central America as this area drifts up towards the north, towards Nicaragua, Honduras, then kind of swings back into the Guatemala, Belize coastlines. Scattered showers and storms mainly for the central side of the Bahamas. It's been a little bit drier northwest side today. It's been a little bit drier southeast towards the Turks and Caicos. So the central Bahamas have actually had the most active weather. This is what it looks like on the surface analysis. Again, tropical wave or Invest 94L, the tropical wave in the Western Caribbean, and then this cold front that has dripped down through the southeast United States. And if you live in that part of the world, you know that's a cooler, drier air mass, and that's going to block any of the tropical systems from lifting north into the Gulf. And here's a very interesting piece of information. Some of the areas that have been impacted significantly by Hurricane Helene, eastern North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, they got some snow last night and this morning. Can you imagine still being without power from a hurricane and getting a couple of inches of snow overnight? That's exactly what those areas saw. How about that? Let's show you some of that video I was talking about. Grand Cayman last night. Stephen Hurlson brings us that. You can see those rumbles of thunder. And again, that's on the far northern side of that potential development area here in the Western Caribbean. Appreciate the video there. This is a beautiful shot. Princea Knolls from northern Eleuthera, Bahamas. What a gorgeous shot there. I mean, come on, is that paradise or what? Maybe a few rumbles of thunder or some showers in the far horizon there, but I appreciate, again, the photos and the videos you guys send me. So now we're going to get right into the forecast. Again, our area in yellow shows a 20% chance of tropical development. That has not been upped from the Hurricane Center. But regardless of development, very wet weather for the Western Caribbean. This is going to bring some showers, trying to even sneak as far east as the ABC Islands, where we've had some decent rain and storms there. But you can clearly see that this spirals back up towards Haiti. Jamaica will get some rain out of this, the Cayman Islands. And as all this pushes north and west, those areas will even have higher rain chances, and some of that moisture even extends back into the Bahamas as well. And then for our area out here, Invest 94L, It's fighting drier air. It's a very small, compact storm. The Hurricane Center has actually dropped the chance to 40%. So we're going to have to wait and see how this is going to play out. I'm going to show you the models coming up in just a second. There's an opportunity that we don't get development as it passes across the Lesser Antilles. Maybe we see development closer to Puerto Rico or even the Dominican Republic and Haiti. But regardless, a small storm, but a wind maker, and the opportunity for some heavy rain, especially if this wants to stall out as it gets to the end of that orange area. And I'll tell you why coming up. So let's delve into our models here on both areas. And of course, I'll have your island by island rainfall forecast coming up as well. So stick around for that. We'll go out about 5-6 days here. Again, today being Wednesday the 16th. We'll start off with our area in yellow here in the Western Caribbean. And again, what you're going to notice with this one is that it's extremely large area of rain, right? Regardless of if we wrap up a low-level center offshore and we get a depression or a tropical storm, this is a heavy rainmaker, especially for Central America and the Yucatan on the western side of the storm. So we've already had some heavy rain. If you live in these areas, let me know. But if you live in flood-prone areas of all of Central America or portions of the Yucatan, you need to just start thinking ahead to, how that might play out if we get 100, 200 millimeters of rain, 4 to 8 inches. It's not out of the question. We'll look at some of the rainfall potential coming up in this system as well. But again, extremely wet maker here, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, on up towards Belize and Guatemala, and against Quintana Roo. If I pause this and we kind of look at how this is going to evolve over the next couple of days, again, just really wet. Tomorrow, we'll get rain coming into Jamaica. Much more persistent rain for the Cayman Islands is a possibility. Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Cayman Brac. Now, eventually that center is going to swing west. So it will start to dry out the Cayman Islands and Jamaica and portions of Cuba first, but it keeps wet weather right through the Yucatan and at least the northern half of Central America right on through the weekend, right? So right on until Sunday here, the 20th, we're going to see a lot of wet weather. So we could be talking about many inches of rain out of this. Now, as far as tropical development goes, meaning actually wrapping up an area of low pressure, let's take a look at the winds associated with this, and I'll drop off the area of development here. This is the GFS model. We're still kind of teetering on whether we get the low-level center to come offshore. This could literally hug the Nicaragua-Honduras coastline and then go right back inland. It's going to be a nice shield of some windy conditions and maybe even some squally weather up here, but do we get this area to actually wrap up? The best opportunity is if the center of circulation stays offshore, hugs the Honduras coastline, and then moves due west back towards places like Roatan and Belize City. If the low-level center comes back inland down here towards Tegucigalpa, more than likely we will not get an area to actually develop. But here we can see that there's a little bit of a void. That's where the GFS model has that, and we are pushing tropical depression status. Look, guys, this is not going to be a wrapped up wind maker. This is not going to be a high-end tropical storm. I think at best it's a depression or an extremely weak tropical storm at its highest point. But this is a very large storm. It's going to be squally weather, and it's going to bring a lot of rain to these areas. When I bring on the rainfall totals, and again, let me just drop off this area development so it's clear to see. This is just through basically early Monday morning, over 5 days. Look at the amount of rain that we could potentially see here. Again, 6 inches, 150 millimeters. There's a bullseye in Belize where the GFS model is trying to paint on more than 10 inches of rain, right? More than 250 millimeters in just 5 days. Honduras, again, La Jiba, San Pedro Sula, Roatan, the coastal islands there, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain, all a possibility. Now, again, on the GFS deterministic, we do keep this offshore and then running back into Guatemala and Belize rather than a quicker west track over central Honduras. That's still a possibility as well. If that's the case, some of these heavy rainfall totals will go off towards the south. But you notice even towards Grand Cayman, you've got the opportunity of 3, 4, 5+ inches of rain in this spot. Jamaica, not as impacted, but still some rain. The GFS model is lower on the rain totals here than what they are for the European, and we'll look at that coming up. But again, pockets of very heavy rain could persist. And the biggest story is just how widespread that rain is going to be with this area, okay? Even up towards the Bahamas and in Cuba, as some of this moisture feeds back to the north and to the east. Notice how, again, central sides of the Bahamas could actually have some really heavy rainfall. You know, Eleuthera, kind of back down towards the Exuma area, maybe New Providence and Andros. It's actually lower amounts far north and west, and actually lower amounts south and east. So if we just get this kind of tongue of moisture coming back in, portions of the Bahamas could get some heavy rain out of this. So this is a large, large storm and a big time rainmaker. It's the exact opposite with Invest 94L. Let's look at this storm, put this into motion. You're gonna find a very compact storm out of this, okay? And again, whereas I am highly confident that this is gonna push west and not be a threat to the Gulf Coast thanks to our area of high pressure and the cold front that came through, how Invest 94 plays out as it sneaks across the Lesser Antilles, either staying in the Atlantic or even dipping into the Caribbean, is very much up in the air. But let's talk about kind of the things that I think are going to play out over the next few days. First of all, again, on the GFS model, we'll look at the European coming up. This is a very weak system as it tries to slide into the Leeward Islands. So we're going to get some rain. And you notice again that the Hurricane Center has slightly nudged this farther north. So even down towards Guadeloupe, we're now out of that orange area. And we're on the edge of that for Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Bart's, and Anguilla. This will be a rainmaker and a little bit of squally weather as we get into our Friday, but I don't believe that even by then we're going to actually have a tropical depression. Again, there's just no real low-level center. It's struggling with some drier air in the short term. The interesting thing is, as it gets towards the end of this line, it's going to start fighting some wind shear with our cold front that's going to be going all the way down into the central Bahamas. Now, we mentioned in yesterday's video that once it gets to basically north of Puerto Rico or north of Hispaniola, it might put on the brakes. It really can't go much farther west than that because of that area of high pressure and basically that dome. So there's three scenarios that come into play. Does this drift south and west over Hispaniola? Maybe try and head towards Jamaica as probably an extremely weak system, or even just an open tropical wave by that point in time. Does it sit in this area and basically stall out, or is it actually pushed around the eastern edge of this area of high pressure and go back up towards Bermuda or slightly off towards the east? Well, let's take a look at our contour pressures here. So I'm going to bring that on real quick. Let's see here. All right, let's go back over to reflectivity. Perfect. I'm going to loop this up and just kind of show you what I mean. These are pressure lines, and you can really clearly see that area of high pressure. By the way, this is a non-tropical low spinning off of the United States eastern seaboard here. It might bring a little bit of rain to Bermuda, but it's nothing tropical in nature. But as we look how this plays out, watch here as we get towards Friday the 18th and then Saturday the 19th, how these isobars are just pushed all the way down. This is not going to allow this to go any farther to the north. So now what happens with this? Well, on the GFS model, it kind of situates, it elongates itself, and actually tries to go back north and east. The European model also picked up on that as well. So down the road, as we get into early next week, if this is far enough south, this could be a heavy rainmaker for the Virgin Islands, in Puerto Rico, in the Dominican Republic, and Haiti, and the Turks and the Caicos. If it's this far north, it may not bring a lot of rain to these areas, but it's going to really freshen up the winds. It's going to bring some rough sea conditions, even to the Leeward Islands as well, regardless if it develops. But it actually might try and wrap up as it pushes to the north and to the east. But again, relatively speaking, for now, it's a really small storm. If I go over to the wind profile field and we look at that, and I take off that orange area here, you'll start to see that come on here. I'll leave these isobars on if it's going to cooperate and actually put both of them on at the same time. But we start to see again the wind field push over the Leeward Islands into the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. But it's a pretty weak system. Nothing is really wrapped up. It really does look like maybe early next week we get that best opportunity. Again, here it comes as we get into tomorrow. And again, this will begin to impact the Leeward Islands, especially Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda tomorrow, but you don't see anything wrapped up, do you? Winds will be fresh as we get into Saturday for the southeast Bahamas, the Turks and the Caicos, Hispaniola, but when I query these numbers, you're not going to see anything that really stands out, right? Now, these are sustained winds, So we could have some nice fresh winds in the Bahamas, but that's associated with the cold front that came down. If we take a look at the contours or the vectors here, and I bring that on, again, you'll notice here if I go out to, let's say, Saturday afternoon, you'll notice that these are north winds right here. So this has nothing to do with the actual system coming in. This is still the impacts of that front. And that's what's going to put the brakes on anything here. But there's your very broad rotation, kind of on the northeast side of Hispaniola, northern sides of Puerto Rico. That's really about it. But nothing significant there. So when we look at the ensemble members of the GFS, again, we'll see a couple paint on this weak area just off of the Honduras coastline. Again, potentially going back into Guatemala or Belize. That could be a depression, that could be a weak tropical storm, probably at its highest point, and then actually dissipates, not expecting it to get back into the southwest Gulf of Mexico because of the strong north winds. On the GFS model, you're not going to see really anything here across the Leeward Islands. Again, kind of more of an open wave, stalls out, and then tries to back up north and east. But on this pressure contour here, you don't see much play out in this area. Now, the European model is still more aggressive with Invest 94L. We are going to get a couple of areas to develop. That would potentially be a tropical storm. Nadine is the next one out there. We don't have as many members doing that, and we only have one right now that when we get towards Hispaniola and this stalls out, and you'll see that coming here, this is Saturday and into Sunday, watch these kind of not move, and then eventually one or two kick this way, and one or two go back to the north and to the east, but nothing progresses further downstream into the Bahamas or Cuba or getting anywhere near Florida. Just can't do it with that area of high pressure in the cold front. So that's going to put the brakes on. If it does stall out in this area and even weekends, again, we could see some heavier rain for Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. So breaking down kind of the two different areas, just like I did yesterday's video. Still a very high confidence. We're going to have a lot of rain in Central America, portions of the Yucatan. So some flooding concerns over the next several days. Flooding is always very area specific. So if you know those areas where you live, low lying, the ones that flood first, those are the biggest concerns. Medium to low confidence that we're actually going to get a depression or storm. It's still plausible, but it would be probably a very weak storm. And if it does develop, pretty high confidence, if you will, of where it's going to go. And that's basically skirting the western side or the Caribbean coastline of Central America and then moving back inland relatively quickly. For Invest 94L, it's the same areas I listed yesterday that need to monitor the situation, but that's about it. Monitor only. No need to take any precautions at this point in time. Leeward Islands, U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, the Turks of the Caicos, and the Southeast Bahamas. Friends, I appreciate you guys taking a quick second and liking this video, subscribing to Meteo Mundo. If you haven't done so, you want these latest forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, all your tropical updates, appreciate you guys. Thank you for sharing this with your family and friends and finding ways to support the channel as well. So back over to the model here, just going to loop this back up over the next couple of days, and then we're going to get into your island by island rainfall forecast, okay? So some of the areas that I haven't touched on yet for the next several days, we'll get into those right now. We'll start off for the rest of the Lesser Antilles down to the Windward Islands. Rain chances in the central part of the island chain will probably be the lowest, okay? But still, Martinique, St. Lucia, Barbados, 40 to 50% chance the next couple of days. You get down towards Trinidad and Tobago, still can see some moisture coming in from South America to elevate the rain chance a bit more. Then you get north, and regardless again of development, it's going to get wet in these areas. Rain chances will go pretty darn high, especially Friday and Saturday for Antigua and Barbuda, and Anguilla and St. Bart's and St. Kitts and Nevis and Saba, St. Eustatius, Montserrat, places like that. We'll also see the rain chances elevate for the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, for my friends in Anegada, and Tortola, Roadtown, St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix, Puerto Rico. You guys looking for a little bit of reprieve from the heat? We're going to get that in the form of some rain. Now, it could be windy at times as well. This, fresh 20, 25 mile an hour wind, kicking up sea conditions. Swells will be a problem in these areas as well. And of course, you're going to see the rain chances going up in the Dominican Republic and Haiti and the Turks of the Caicos. What's very interesting, again, is for the Bahamas, it's like the central Bahamas just kind of get that moisture tongue, if you will, a little bit more. And so I expect a better chance for rain for Exuma compared to Freeport or back down towards the southeast Bahamas and the Acklins. Wet, wet, and wetter for the Caribbean on the western side, the Yucatan, Central America, decent chance for Jamaica, even a higher chance for Grand Cayman and the Cayman Islands in general. Spotty rain for the ABC Islands over the next couple of days. Let's break it down. For tomorrow, Northwest Bahamas, 40% chance Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Going to keep it at a 40% chance each day for the Central and Southeast Bahamas as Invest 94L gets closer to the Turks and Caicos on Saturday. Rain chances going up. And if it stalls, that means rain chances will be really high over the weekend, and we'll have to be talking about some potential heavy rainfall in the Turks and the Caicos. Cuba's rain chances stay very high. Cayman Islands rain chances are up Thursday, Friday as that low, again, regardless of development, moves inland into Central America. Rain chances will begin to lower on Saturday. But that means high rain chances for places like Belize City and Roatan, Cancun, Cozumel, Tulum, places like that. 60, 70, 80% chance of rain the next 3 days. Jamaica's rain chances are highest tomorrow and Friday, not as high as the Cayman Islands, but again, some scattered heavier downpours and then more isolated on Saturday. Here comes the Dominican Republic, rain chances just increasing through Saturday. Puerto Rico, still pretty isolated for there in the British Virgin Islands and U.S. Virgin Islands tomorrow, but then exceptionally high rain chances Friday and Saturday. Again, the potential for some heavier rainfall, localized flooding. Bermuda's rain chances are relatively low the next few days, and Anguilla and St. Kitts and Nevis get set for some wet weather over the next 3 days. Antigua, Barbuda, 60% chance tomorrow, 80 Friday, Saturday. Montserrat going up as well, up to an 80% chance. Guadeloupe, Dominica, 50% chance tomorrow. Very high rain chances Friday, Saturday. Everyone's going up a bit, especially Martinique. St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, again, not directly impacted by Invest 94L, but winds turning out of the south will pull in more moisture, so even your rain chances will go to a pretty high category for Friday and Saturday. Barbados' rain chances actually will probably be highest tomorrow, then just tail off slightly Friday, Saturday. Watch out for some heavier rain. Watch out for some swells, especially on the western side of the island. Grenada, it's a 50% chance the next couple of days. Trinidad and Tobago, pretty solid rain chances here. Again, pockets of heavier rain, isolated flooding is not out of the question. Suriname and Guyana stay with good rain chances. Nueva Esparta kind of bounces back and forth, but about a 30 to a 40. And then the ABC Islands, again, not as much, but we'll have a few scattered showers there. Again, rainfall totals could be quite impressive. I showed you the GFS model. Here's the European model. Again, your needle, your haystack. It's crazy how much larger the Western Caribbean storm is, but look how wide the rain is going to be. And again, these are high rainfall totals, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches in a lot of spots, okay? But there will be some areas that could be higher than that on the European model. Portions of the Cayman Islands, and again, northern coastline of Nicaragua, Guatemala, Belize, the Caribbean coast of the Yucatan as well. There are some that have this, 10, 12 inches of rain. That's 250 millimeters or more, so please be aware of that. Still could see some heavier rain, southern Honduras, back down into Nicaragua as well, but again, that area I'm concerned about for some heavy rain and flooding. Cayman Islands with some heavy rain. Jamaica, again, 3, 4 inches of rain, not out of the question. There's your central Bahamas, heavier rainfall. And again, on the European model, we're slightly north of the Greater Antilles for the heaviest rain, but if this drops just even 50 miles south, we could be talking about a lot more rain for Puerto Rico and Hispaniola and the Virgin Islands as well, and just not as much down towards the Windward Islands overall. Friends, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking with me here. You can follow us across all of our social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video, it's mymeteomundo@gmail.com. Literally talking this much, the numbness in my mouth has gone away, and I kind of just noticed that. So you guys have actually helped me by making this video. If you have a specific question about the forecast, drop it in the comment section below. While you're down there, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Got you guys up to date on this daily forecast, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow with the latest on those 2 areas in your local forecast. Until then, you guys take care, and I'll see you tomorrow right here at Meteo Mundo.